Hi to both sides. Guten Erev Shabbos. First of all, tremendous Hashkot to Reb Tzvi. Mamish, I think this is his fourth catered event this week. I
got one more.
He's got a few more between now and Shabbos. Incredible. And by the way, none of it gets recycled. It's a different menu
every time,
every single time. I mean, this is the same menu as last week. I'm just saying.
No,
I don't
the chicken
know.
I haven't done in a while.
Yeah,
yeah.
People
keep me honest.
Last time was holiday.
Someone said something. Someone said
That's
something.
right.
I take feedback.
That's right. That's right. Beautiful.
Just everyone take, if you want your request, just make the same joke again. It was a while
Yeah,
ago.
sure.
Everyone just write it down on a piece of paper. I got the suggestion box right there by the door.
It has the bag in it.
So one.
Can you get Traeger meat?
Traeger meat.
Filet mignon?
Yeah, mean. Oh, that's what you mean from the hind. Yes, sure.
Listen, but on a serious note, you should just know that now, Baruch Hashem, we've been having this year for a couple of months. And literally every single Thursday night. Tzvi makes us such a beautiful spread, Baruch Hashem. So thank you. And we'll say a tremendous yashikoach to our new mashke gabbai, who is really doing an incredible job in his first few weeks on the job to make sure that the well never wants. Right.
What happens?
No, Sarah Mashkin ended up all right. He ended up okay. He ended up all right. Sarah Ofen didn't end up all right. Sarah Mashkin was good.
Makes sense. Sounds
right. No, I mean here.
Consistent. It's consistent.
That well should Emir Hashem run dry. I hope that well runs dry. Emir Hashem. With that, let us begin. So we have a beautiful piece. We're continuing the Chalban. So continuing in the piece, right? Last week did we have? Oh no, we didn't have shir last week. Right? No, 2 weeks ago. So we started this piece, really beautiful, the piece that's titled Hayachas Bein Hagufa Neshama Be'uma B'chiburam, page Ayin Beis. So both say, so if you remember again.
Can I just ask, although my father was really literature, but since it's your site, can we maybe...
Absolutely. Aryeh ben Baruch. We'll see, we hope that in the merit of our Talmud Torah, the Neshama of Aryeh ben Baruch should have a lichtil Gan Eden, should have Neshama Shtav and Aliyah and his family in Nechama. So I will say, so remember again, we started out in this piece here where the Chalban was describing very beautifully that in this world, in this current world in which we live, so often the focus of our lives is Havdalah. Right, tell me about Havdalah. That the whole essence of life is lahabdul ben kodesh lechol. To be able to distinguish, to be able to identify what's kodesh, what's holy, and what's chol, what's mundane. And the Chalban was explaining that that's the way the world works, right? There's these two categories in life, that which is holy, that which is mundane. But the Rebbe explained, the Chalban explained that in the second period of the Geula, which ultimately, again, we call Pekida, we spoke about this extensively, in the period of Pekida, so there's not going to be this bifurcation between Kodesh and Chol. Rabbi explained the Chalban that in the period of Pekida, which is the last stage of Geula, as we spoke about in previous shiurim, everything is Kodesh. Everything is Kodesh. Everything is holy. And there's a recognition, and we spoke about this idea extensively, this idea that it's one of these concepts that makes sense, even though we can't fully wrap our head around it, because Lamaisa, we do live in a world of Kodesh and Chol, but at the end of the day, if I believe that everything comes from HaKodesh Baruch Hu, everything comes from the Ribono Shel Olam, then by definition, everything is Kodesh. And even the things that look Chol, they only look Chol, but they're not really Chol. Everything is Kodesh. But in this world, even in the period of Zechira, you can't see it. You can't see it. It's only in the period of Pekida, only in the end of the Geula process, that they're truly able to experience this idea. So let's picking up a page Ayin Gimel. Page Ayin Gimel. So the second to last paragraph on the page, and here the Chalban says something absolutely amazing. He writes, Ella shemabat kadosh zeh eininu nimtza bechelek hanigla shel Torah. So here the Chalban says something amazing. This outlook on life, this outlook, that at the end of the day, there's nothing really that's chol. Everything is kodesh, because everything comes from Hashem. Everything is kodesh. Again, we're not at that stage yet, but that in the final stage of Geula, everything is truly holy. Everything is kodesh. The ability to see this concept really comes from the area of nigla. The area of nistar. Right? I'm sorry, let me read it. He says, Eineno nimtza bechelek hanigla shel haTorah. This concept cannot be seen through the revealed part of Torah. It's not seen through the revealed. Why? Listen to this. Ki hu eino ela madrich as ha'adam b'kiyam hamitzvos hamugdaros. If you think about it very beautifully and profoundly, so what's the whole job of Torah? Think about the Torah that we have, what we call Torah's hanigla, revealed Torah. So revealed Torah is exactly what it sounds like: Chumash, Mishnah, Gemara, Shulchan Aruch. Right? What's the whole point of Torah's hanigla? What's the entire essence of Torah's hanigla? Is to tell us what's kodesh and what's chol, what's mutter and what's aser. That's the entire point of it. That's the entire. So I will say Torah's hanigla is there to focus in a world where there are these two categories. There's kodesh and chol, and therefore the Chalban says something amazing. The notion that everything in the world is kadosh. The notion that everything in the world comes from the Ribbon Shalom and therefore everything is truly holy. That concept is not found in Torah's Hanigla. That's not found in revealed Torah. You're not going to find that concept. I will say, here's the perfect raya to this. When the Torah speaks about Kedoshim Tiyu, I will say almost all of the Mefarshim explain, what does it mean? How do you actualize the mandate of being holy? How do you actualize it? You separate yourself from something. Separate yourself from something. The idea of Kedoshim Tiyu is to identify that which is holy, that which is mundane, bring yourself closer to the holiness and further from the mundanity. So even the way Torah's Hanigla, revealed Torah, understands Kedusha, is Kedusha by definition. Before you get to what you do, there's first distancing yourself from those things that are by definition mundane. So says the Chalban, the beauty of what we call Torah's Hanistar, the hidden Torah. So the hidden Torah, of course, begins with Rashbi, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the Zar, Ijra Rabba, Ijra Zuta, Kabbalah, Chassidus. The beauty of Torah's Hanistar is that Torah's Hanistar helps us to tap into this concept of a world that is fully kadosh, of a world that is absolutely, totally, and unequivocally holy. That there's no such thing as something that's mundane. Everything has kedusha. See, he goes on, he says, Ki hu eino ela madrich es ha'adam. Okay, dafka chilek hanistar. It is dafka, the hidden part of Torah. Hu sheba legalos es hakodesh ha'elyon ulaharos es shlitaso b'chol merchabe ha'chayim. It is dafka, again, what we call Torah's hanistar, the hidden dimension of Torah, which comes to reveal the upper holiness and to show us that holiness really vests itself in everything in this world. See, Rabbi say, and this, if you think about this, it's if you're not used to this type of learning, this is a hard thing to wrap your head around, because the notion that Torah, revealed Torah, is not complete is something interesting to contemplate. Of course, Torah is complete. Everything that we ever need is in Torah, but the revealed dimension of Torah is here to help us operate in the world before Geula, in the world leading up to Geula. The whole point of Torah is to get us to Geula. So in the pre-Geula world, or I should say, using the Chalban's wording, in the pre-Pekida world, because remember again, Zechira is the first part of Geula. You're in Geula, but even in Zechira, till we get to Pekida, there is again this bifurcation. There's Kodesh and there's Chol. And they're two separate things. And what's my job in life? Gravitate towards the Kodesh and try to whatever degree you can't. See, remember, can you avoid Chol? No, you can't avoid Chol. What you could do is you can manage it, you can mitigate it, right? You could go out and make sure that it doesn't overtake your life. But ultimately, with Torah's Hanistra, the hidden dimension of Torah, we'll say, I'll just, because sometimes when he talks about Torah's Hanistra, you scratch it like, what is he talking about? Hidden dimension of Torah. Like, what are you referring to? So I will say, so just to give you an insight, I think I mentioned this the last year, but I'll mention it again now. I did mention this last year. One of the core concepts in what we'll call Torah's Hanistra, the hidden dimension of Torah, Kabbalah, Zohar, Chassidus, is the concept ultimately again of nitzotzos, of sparks of Kedusha. And there are sparks of holiness in everything in this world. And when I say everything, literally everything. Rabbi say, by the way, I just want to show you how much everything means everything. How much everything means everything. Rabbi say, the Gemara says that Mibnei Banav Shal Haman, the grandchildren of Haman, learned Torah in Bnei Brak. They converted. Haman's Einaklach, right? I can't imagine he had too much nachas. I mean, he didn't really have a chance for any nachas, but Lamais, again, Haman's grandchildren were converts. They learned Torah in Bnei Brak. Shmai Naftalion, Rus, a descendant from Eglon. Hey, so you see that? What does that show you? What does that show you? That shows you that there's holiness everywhere and in everyone. So in Chassidus, there's this concept of these sparks, these nitzotzos. But what happens in life? The sparks are obscured by what we call shells or coverings, which in Chassidus is called klipos, shells. And what happens to those shells, as you can imagine, they obscure the light. You can't see it. So you walk around the world, or sometimes you walk into a person. Unless you ever have an interaction with a person, and you say, you know what? I really try to see the good in everyone. That person has no good inside of them. Right? You're thinking of someone right now, by the way. I was thinking of someone. Yeah, I just met him. Actually, on the way in, he was just here. So you know. I just
signed the pledge.
What? You signed the pledge. That was a test. It was a test. Right? Excellent. Right? So I'll say. So, meaning, it's important to understand that even if you meet someone like that and you don't say in Kedusha, it's important to take a step back and to say, I know I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong about that person. I know I'm wrong. I still might not like them, and I still might not want anything to do with them, but I have to acknowledge the fact that I am wrong. There is no such thing as a person without Kedusha, and there's no such thing as anything in this world that doesn't have Kedusha. Yes?
So, why is it that you have to, go so much deeper and find those little sparks to know that?
Because that's what Geula is. Because if you didn't have to go deeper in the sparks, then ultimately, again, the process wouldn't be meaningful. In other words, what's life if everything is revealed? Right? What's life if you don't have to, imagine your father said, you know what, welcome back from Eretz Yisrael. Good news, I set up a trust fund for you, $25 million. You'd say, Dad, no thank you. No thank you, right? I want to work hard, right? I'm going to donate it to the shul. I'm just going to donate it to the shul, right? All kidding aside, in other words, life is meaningful when there's work associated with it, right? If you just walked outside, right? And if you just walked outside and lahavdil, you just saw, everywhere you looked, you just saw sparks of holiness. Then what's the avodah in life, right? So what makes life so incredibly meaningful is I have to believe it even though I can't see it. And ultimately, the beauty of Geula is we'll be able to see it. So I will say, when the Chalban says over here, Torah's Hanistar, that's what he means. The belief and the understanding and the ability to go through life and actively discern. There is Kedusha in everyone. There is Kedusha in everything. That concept is not really a concept in Torah's Hanigla. If you think about this, right? You're not going to find that concept in the Chumash. You won't really find. You may find it by people like Avraham Avinu seemed to really chap this idea. Right? That's he was able to have the tent open on all sides. He saw that everybody contains some type of goodness. But the truth is, in the Torah in general, the way the mitzvos are written, you don't find this concept in the Torah, and for good reason, because that's not the role of the Torah. The role of the Torah is to teach us how to navigate this world, and in this world, the most important thing is what's kodesh. What's chol? How can you imbibe the kedusha, and how can you minimize or try to avoid the chol? That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. But Torah's hanista, the hidden dimension of Torah, is all about finding the kedusha in everything. So Rabbi says, listen to this. He says, I'll tell you, by the way, I have to tell you something amazing. I was speaking about this. Nebuch, a guy who I went to yeshiva with in Eretz Yisrael, passed away. Young man passed away very, very suddenly. And so I didn't know, because apparently I wasn't added to it, but there was like a WhatsApp group from our year in yeshiva. So actually I was added to it, because I think I silenced or archived the chat. It's like for years there's been stuff posting, and I look like the antisocial guy, right, who never said anything. All right, in any event. So I reconnected with someone who, this is mamish hashgacha. You assume I'm going on this tangent. So I reconnected with a guy who I was in yeshiva with, who I haven't seen or spoken to in 20 years. So he asked me, he saw somebody that were doing a Chassidus Chaburah, so what are you learning? I said, Chalban. He said, who's that? Who's that? So I told him a little bit about what we were learning. I told him this piece. And this guy, he kind of carved out his own path, in life. So I told him this idea about seeing the Kiddush and everything. He said, I'm sending you a video clip. He said, I promise you it's 100% kosher. I said, maybe not 100%, but it's like 95% kosher. And I said, I'm telling you, this is it. So he sent me a clip from The Matrix. Right? So what's the chap? By the way, it was amazing. What was the chap with it? I don't know, whatever the whole story is. But what's the actor's name? Keanu Reeves, right? Keanu Reeves, right? He has like this epiphany, like this awakening. His Torah Hanistar, right? And what does he see? He sees the code, right? He sees the code in everything, right? So everyone else, they go out into the world and all they see is, okay, the sun's rising, this, that, and that's all they see. He sees the code. See, he sees whatever. It's like, mamash, yesh chachma b'gayim, yesh chachma b'kiyana, right? Right. So I'm just saying, such an incredible yesod. That I'm saying, I don't know if the
Jewish
producers,
writers.
I'm sorry, Jewish writers, definitely, right? Right. So I was going to say, so again, I'm just pointing out, just like lahavdil. But again, lamaisa, you begin to go out and see the world looks one way. But then Torah Hanistar says there's this whole other piece behind it. There's a whole code that's there, and that code shows that there's Kedusha, there's holiness in everything. See, he goes on. He says, Meromam hu esa adam va'am, liros ketzad kol muskei achayim, ki melacho mishpacha, chevra shchuna. And Rabbi saying, once a person learns Torah's Hanistar, the hidden Torah, which Rabbi says what we're learning each and every week, that's why we come together every Thursday night. I know some of you thought you're here for the buffet, right? But Lamaisa, again, we're here. Yeah, you know who you are. You know exactly. We know who you are, right?
Too excited. At least he's honest.
At least hide the smile. At least hide it something, right? So right.
He comes for the food, stays for the food.
Baruch Hashem, whatever it is, right? So again, that's what we're learning every Thursday night. This is what we come to. We come to learn Torah Hanistar, and what are we trying to do? What we're trying to accomplish is just that. When you learn the hidden dimension of Torah, it lifts up the people and the nation. Liros ketzad kol moskei achayim. When you learn Torah Hanistar, and you begin to see that indeed there is Kedusha in everything. You begin to see every aspect of life. Kimelacha umishpacha. Whether it's your career or your family. Chavra ushchuna. Your friends, your neighborhood. Einam ela aspaklaria shal kodesh. And we'll say, the best way I would say this is, aspaklaria, like a kaleidoscope of Kedusha. You know what happens when you look in the kaleidoscope, right? At first, before your eye focuses, you don't know what you're looking at. You know what you're looking at, but like the longer you look at it, you begin to make out the shapes, right? The geometric patterns, right? You begin to see it. So the world is this aspaklaria shel kodesh. It is this kaleidoscope of Kedusha. See, so when you don't know what you're looking at, you don't see Kedusha. You just see Kodesh and Chol. But as the eye begins to be trained, and as the neshama is opened up through the hidden dimension of Torah, suddenly again, things fall into focus, and suddenly I'm able to see, wow, it's not that there's Kodesh and Chol. There's just Kodesh. There's just Kodesh. It's all Kodesh. Are there varying degrees of Kedusha? Of course. Are there things that are acutely Kodesh and things that are minimally Kodesh? Yes. Are there things that are obviously Kodesh, things that are Kodesh in a nuanced fashion? Yes. But everything has that element of Kedusha associated with it. He said, Besod avodas haberurim, v'amshachas oros atzilos ad lochomer mamish, kediv Rabbeinu Ramchal. So we'll say here he quotes the Ramchal. This is just an amazing, even if we just come tonight to learn this piece, this is an incredible piece by the Ramchal. Don't skip. Still on page Ayin Gimel. Come on, what are you skipping the little part over here? Yes.
I
don't understand something. Even the people go through the stories in quotes and Sefer Bereshis, which seemingly are somewhat mundane stories, but yet there's such elements of kedusha involved in all the avos. So how does the Chalban saying that there's no element of kedusha in things which are seemingly chol in the Torah? Clearly, there are many things which the Torah is telling you which are seemingly mundane, and yet there is many elements of kedusha in it.
Everything in Torah is kaddish. He's not saying there's not kedusha in it. He's saying, but look at those stories. What's the message of those stories, right? It's the Ramban. But I'm saying, but remember, it's the Ramban in his introduction to Bereshis. Why the story's there? The story's there to teach you character traits. That's why they're there. So it's coming to teach you something very important about how to live in this world. Is there any? The Chalban's positing. You could certainly disagree with it, but he's positing that nowhere does the Torah nigla, the Torah's not nigla, teach us this concept that there is kedusha in everything. Every aspect of the Torah teaches us something, right? Of course. Even what we perceive as the quote unquote mundane details, right? Even the mundane details are not mundane. There's no. And let me highlight this point. Nechemi's point. There's obviously nothing chol in the Torah. Everything in the Torah is kadosh, and even those things that look like and say, why is that here? What is that teaching us? Everything is there to teach us a holy lesson. He's just positing that the notion of finding kedusha in everything in this world, ultimately he posits, is not found in the Torah's hanigla. That concept is found in the Torah's hanistar. Again, I'm not saying you can't push back on this concept. I don't know. The truth is, I'm a chassid of the Chalban, and I'm a good chassid, so whatever my Rebbe says, I listen. So to be honest, I am not a critical thinker with these things. I see it, and my neshama eats it up, and I feel that it's emes. I'm sure that you could kind of cultivate a counter narrative to this. I was traveling today, so I was thinking about this. I did like a brief kind of overview, like, does anything jump out in the Torah? Not that I have the Torah on my fingertips at all, but like, just if I think about it, like big adol, in a panoramic sense, is there anything in Torah that teaches us this concept? Nothing jumped out at me. But then again, maybe I'm predisposed not to find anything because of what the Chalban said. I don't know. Nechemi, that's your homework. Yes.
I'll let you know. Is he trying to say that it's our job to find the kedusha and everything, or is it more of like an emunah thing to know that there's?
It's our job to find it. It's absolutely our job. Of course. What's the point?
Because what if there's something we can't?
Try harder.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to get up in the morning. So what's the answer? Try harder. Right? It's hard to keep Shabbos. I'm saying the notion that it's hard. Of course, it's hard. I would even take it further. Sometimes it's impossible. Now, by the way, that's why the Chalban says that ultimately the true ability to do this is really in Geula. Geula is where everything becomes clear. But even though Geula is when everything becomes clear, the Maisa, the Avoda still has to take place now, I think. But say, look at the Ramchal.
You can't see the kedusha and the kedusha and the chol because we're around Pekida. We're
right. Correct.
You can't see it. So even if no matter how hard you try,
and by the way, it's more than what I would venture saying, and kind of this is building on Yisroel's point as well. In the world in which we live, remember, there's a first step before we get delving into all this. Right? What's the first step? First step is identifying in life. What's Kodesh? What's Chol? Right? Before you run around looking for Kodesh and everything, right? Calm down, right? Before you go on that, by the way, first step in life is, what's Kodesh? What's Chol? How many of us have clear lines and clear categories? What's Kodesh? What's Chol? What's Mutter? What's Aser? What's Tameh? What's Tar? What's Kasher? What's Treif? How many of us really have those lines clearly drawn? And the reality is most of us don't. Right? For whatever the reasons. So remember again, the first step in this journey is first Kodesh and Chol. That is the prerequisite. After you get to being Kodesh and Chol, then the graduation from that is finding the Kiddush and everything. Let me read to the Ramchal. Let's look at this piece, because then this will fill it out. It says, Yisera Kabbalah. End of page Ein Gimel. Yisera Kabbalah. Ki hine lefnei darka hamasim atzmam chozim liyos tovim v'tikunim elyonim. V'hainu. I'm just going to read a few lines. Ki kach hechen haratzon ha'elyon. Shabbos, how did HaKadosh Baruch Hu create his world? What was the Ribono Shel Olam's will when he created his world? Shu divrei ha'olam hazeh niskatshim al yidei ma sha'adam mishtamish mem l'tzarcho v'hana'aso. See, Rabbi said, this is very important. The Ribono Shel Olam created a world. And why did he create a world? He created a world so that we should use it. And the amazing part is, if we use it in the correct fashion, we lift it up. We lift it up. This is the Medrash in Bereishis Rabbah. After HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Adam Rishon, he takes Adam for Rishon, for a siyur, for a tour around the world. And he says, Adam, kol ma shebarasi, b'shvilcha barasi. Everything I created for you. See, Rabbi said, this is one of the beautiful things in Yiddishkeit. Seeing some religions preach that the way to come close to God is to be ascetic, is to withdraw, is to deprive. And Yiddishkeit says, the Baruch Hu created this for me. Kala Olam Nivra Bishli created the beautiful natural world for me. I've said this before. It's a beautiful story that Rav Kook, Rav Avram Yitzchak Cohen Kook, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, was stuck in World War I. Was stuck in Switzerland during World War I. He was on a fundraising trip. The war broke out and he couldn't get out. So it was fundraising. So he said to his host one day that he wanted to go see the Alps. So the host was like a little bit surprised. It's Rav Avram Yitzchak Cohen Cook. I don't know. I think by this time already he was already the Rav of Yerushalayim. I don't think he was the chief rabbi yet. Or maybe he was the chief rabbi already. I'm not sure. So he, surprised, like here he lives in Yerushalayim. Remember again, Rav Kook was a Chassid. He wants to go see the Alps. So the host says, I don't know how he said it, but like essentially, why do you want to go see the Alps? Right? So there are different versions of what Rav Kook said. One of the versions was that Rav Kook said, after 120, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was going to say to me, "No, Avram Yitzchak, you were in Switzerland. What did you think of my Alps?" Right? So, in other words, that's what Rav Kook was trying to highlight was, Hashem created a beautiful world for us. Sometimes we think, for the Jews, Hashem created Yerushalayim, Lakewood, Muncie, Borough Park, right? Baltimore, right? I'm sorry, Boca? Is it Boca? Boca. Good, not saying that one, right? I'm just saying, like sometimes we think like that's our world. The rest is for the Goyim, right? The rest is for the Goyim, right? This is like Jewish territory. This is where we live, right? Everything else is for someone else. And I will say, it's not true. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Adam, the world is yours. The world is yours. And so the Ramchal writes over here, he says, the job of the Jew is to take the world and to use it responsibly. And when the Jew takes the world and uses it responsibly, when you use the world in the right way, say, what was the great... Does Chaim have a chair? He's getting it. Okay. So let's say, so ultimately I will say, what was the sin of Adam HaRishon? If you think about it for just a moment, what was the great sin of Adam HaRishon? The great sin of Adam HaRishon was not simply that he disobeyed God, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew that it was only a matter of time until man disobeyed him, right? That was clear that was going to happen. It was obvious it was going to happen. Reb Chaim, you need a chair. We'll get you. Yeah, no, I'm not giving you my chair. I'm just You're such an unoff. It's incredible. Wow. Mamish, thank you. I thought you were going to bring in my chair from the shul. You could have, your back's ready, okay. So again. Oh, thank you. Good. Do you want another chair for your feet? Do you want to put something on and relax a little bit? Oh. Well, you get DoorDash over here also. It's Uber Eats. All right, so Uber Eats. Good, mamish.
I didn't even know if there was a shear. I just came for some.
Yeah, I understood. Thank you. I think that went a little too far, but that's fine. So now listen to this. So what was the chait of Adam HaRishon? Right? What was his sin? So everyone thinks the sin was disobedience. It can't be. Why can't it be? Because again, disobedience was always in the cards. You think HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't know man was going to disobey him? Of course man was disobeying. We'll say, what is life without a little disobedience? And I know that sounds a bit heretical, but it's true. In other words, we'll say, think about this for just a moment. Where does growth come from in life? Where does growth come from? Right? Failure. Growth. Think about the best moments of growth in your life. Let's say, I guarantee you, the best moments of growth did not come on the heels of something fantastic happening to you in life. It just doesn't work. The best moments of growth are in the aftermath of abysmal failure. When I feel like, oh my gosh, I have literally just hit rock bottom. I can't go any lower. It's not true, you can always go lower, but I feel like I can't go any lower. Those are the most incredible cathartic moments of growth. So the chait of Adam Rishon wasn't disobedience. It was disobedience, but the real chait was that Adam took a world that Hashem meant to be used as a bridge to come closer to the divine, and he used it to create a distance between himself and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem says to Adam, the world is yours. The world is yours. Everything is Kaddish. And if you use it in the right way, you'll bring out the Kedusha. We'll say, think about this for just a moment. Right? Why do we say brachas? Right? I take an apple. Right? Apple is always a paradigmatic example. But I take an apple. I say, boy, praise. What am I doing? I'm bringing out the Kedusha in the apple. You could have an apple, or you could have a Davar Shebek Kedusha. The apple is Kaddish. Look at the apple HaKadosh Baruch Hu created with the beautiful peel and the fruit and the seeds on the inside and the fragrance and everything. It's incredible. There's Kedusha in it because in that apple I see HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And when I make a bracha, I'm bringing out the Kedusha of the apple. The sin of Adam Arishon was Hashem said, I gave you a world, it's yours. Enjoy the Alps, enjoy the apples, enjoy everything. But just use it in a way that brings you closer to me. And Adam Rishon used it to create a divide. And therefore says the Ramchal something amazing. He says, the whole job of a person is to take the physical world, take everything in it, and use it in a way where you bring out the Kedusha. Use it in a way where you bring out the holiness. V'hainu, ki divrei hashamayim hem kulon mikudashim. Listen, that's very simple. Say, one second. Everything is holy? Everything is holy? To which Ramchal says, yes. Because everything is created by Hashem. So if everything is created by the Ribono Shel Olam, then by definition, everything is holy. V'sofa Olam, look, these are words of the Ramchal, by the way. V'sofa Olam, lios kula mekudash. At the end, when Mashiach comes and Pekida comes about, everything in the world is going to be holy. Haaretz v'chol hasheba, kemo hashamayim v'chol hashebahem. The heavens are holy, the earth is going to be holy, and everything in the earth is holy as well. The Rabbi will say, get ready for this. And a whole shiur is worth it for this line. V'chol inyan zeh masru biyad adam. But Rabbi will say, the ability to find and discover the holiness, even in the chol, even in the mundane. The ability to discover and to bring out the holiness in everything, even the material. He says, listen to this. V'hu sod. This is the deeper meaning in the pasuk. Hashamayim shamayim laHashem, v'ha'aretz nasan livnei adam. Go to page Ayin Dalet. Get ready for this. This is mamish, mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. See, Rabbi say, we know this pasuk. But Gemara Maseches Brachas quotes this pasuk a number of times. Hashamayim shamayim laHashem, v'ha'aretz nasan livnei adam. The heavens belong to God, and the earth was given to man. Rabbi say, when we read that pasuk, how do we interpret it? How do we interpret it? Two domains, right? What are the two domains? Shamayim is Kodesh, Hashem, and earth is Chol, man's. Right? And that's, and by the way, that's always, that's how, we'll say, that's even how it's interpreted in Torah's Hanikla. Right? That's how it's interpreted even in the revealed term. Look at the Maseches Brachas. Right? Ultimately, again, that's the theme that the Gemara seems to promote. Says Ramchal, that's not what it means. Look at this. Ki hashamayim hu echina b'chol shleimusam. See, I will say shamayim. Ki shamayim laHashem means shamayim is perfect. Shamayim is perfect, right? Shamayim does not need to evolve. Shamayim does not need to grow. Shamayim does not need to change. Shamayim is absolutely, completely, unequivocally perfect. Shamayim is great. Ach ha'aretz Masra livnei adam. Yet at the end of the day, listen to this, the earth was given over to man. Then I will say, why was the earth given over to man? Get ready for this. Adam shehem yitaknuha. Va'aretz, Hashem says, Shamayim Shamayim Hashem. The job is done in Shamayim. There's nothing more to do in Shamayim. But where is there work to do? Va'aretz nasan livnei adam. The remaining work in this universe does not have to take place on high. The remaining work in this universe has to take place in this world. And I will say, who does that work? Who does that work? That work is us. V'hainu, go say, get ready to this. V'hainu ki nitan hakoach la'adam, shehu mamshich koach hashchina va'or lamata al yedei nishmasa. So I will say, what's my job? I have a neshama. My neshama draws energy from on high. From Shamayim. The The Shemayim that Hashem created, the Shemayim that's absolutely complete and perfect. So ultimately, again, my neshama draws energy from Shemayim. And I will say, with that energy that my neshama draws from on high, my job is to complete the world. That's my job, is to complete the world. He says, the no sin called divrei olam l'shimusho. And I will say, how do I complete my work? How do I complete my work? That when I utilize the physicality of this world to enhance my relationship with Hashem, to build my neshama, sha'al yidei zeh niskanim gamheim. That's how I fix the world. The koach hakidusha she'imshich mispashet gamaleim. So let's hear what's happening over here. Shamayim Shamayim LaHashem. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, heavens are done. Right? Mission accomplished. Nothing more for anyone to do, even God. Nothing more for me to do in Shamayim. It's done. Va'aretz nasan livnei adam. Do you know where there's still unfinished work? In this world. And whose job is it to finish it? Man's job. And how does man finish that job? With the koach, with the energy that his neshama channels down from Shamayim. And what's the nature of that work? To find the Kedusha in every single thing. And how do you find the Kedusha in every single thing? By finding a way to use the different aspects and facets of this world to build relationship with Hashem, to atone for the sin of Adam Harishon. Because Adam's sin was the use of the physical world to rebel against Hashem. Our job is to use the physical world to come closer to Hashem. And when we do that, when we see how in the physical world I could build my relationship with Hashem, I reveal the sparks and I bring out the Kedusha in this world. Let's finish the Ramchal. He said,
spin on Tikkun Olam.
Correct. It's real Tikkun Olam, right? Absolutely. In other words, unfortunately, first of all, it's Tikkun Olam. That's number one, right? It's Tikkun Olam. Okay, let's talk about it. Right. So, right, yes, absolutely. The job of a Jew is they're not wrong. The job of a Jew is Tikkun Olam, right? But Tikkun Olam isn't the same thing for Habitat for Humanity. Like Habitat for Humanity is great also. That's fantastic. But it's not the same thing. That's great. That's fantastic. But Tikkun Olam, it's so fascinating because everyone interprets Tikkun Olam as something you do for the other. When in fact, real Tikkun Olam, or at least a dominant facet of Tikkun Olam, is your ability to use this world to build your relationship with Hashem. That's true Tikkun HaOlam. So let's finish Ramchal. He says, "V'nosan called divrei olam shimusho she'al yidei zeh niskanim gamheim v'koach hakedusha God elo shetzarech ladas hadrachim eich lishtamish min haolam." But I will say ultimately, again, here says Ramchal, but here's the catch: you have to know how to use the world. You have to know how to use the world. How do you properly use Olam Avi? You could come in. Right? Avi was there.
Oh,
right.
I was at the text though.
Yeah. Right? How do you properly use the world?
No, it's fine.
Yeah. Good?
No, it's fine.
Okay. We'll talk to him after.
Yeah.
No, so right? So I will say at the end of the day, Shalom Aleichem. At the end of the day, you have to know. Help yourself to something, please. At the end of the day, you have to know how do you use the world. How do you use the world? Tikun hatash mishahu v'lo kilkul chas v'shalom. I will say that ultimately, again, what does life become all about? How do you go ahead and properly use this world? See, I will say, at the end of the day, that's the great. Let me just read that last line again. Person has to know the method, the pathways, how to use the world, so that the usage of the physical world will rectify the world, will be ma'aleh v'nitzotzos, release the sparks, not destroy. So we'll say, again, see, I just want to point out over here what the Chalban was kind of advancing as his thesis. I just want to point out that Ramchal already predated him by a few hundred years. So this is already, now I will say that, by the way, the Ramchal was a Kabbalist, right? So this is not, you know the story of the Ramchal. The Ramchal was blacklisted because he was a Kabbalist. Remember again, the Ramchal lived right after Shabtai Tzvi. So anyone who was heavily steeped in Kabbalah after Shabtai Tzvi was accused of being a Sabbatian. So the Ramchal was blacklisted. The Ramchal could not find a job. Can you imagine someone saying, right? You can't be a proper Jew without learning Mesilas Yesharim. You can't. It's like you're deficient. It's like you're missing something in your spiritual diet. And I will say, isn't it incredible that Ramchal himself was an outcast? Couldn't find a job. He went to Eretz Yisrael because he had absolutely no prospects anywhere else. He became an optician. Right? And he died. Again, he's very young, 39 years old. Hey, so ultimately, again, but I just want to point out, so just so you should know, the Chalban is bringing this concept up, but in no way is he the originator of this concept. So I will say, what we begin to see is something absolutely amazing. That right now, let's just summarize this and then we'll stop. Right now, we live in a world of Kodesh and Chol. And to be clear, going back to Yisrael's point, this is an important first step. It's an important first step. Because if you can't get Ben Kodesh L'Chol right, which most of us spend our entire life struggling with, there's nowhere, I'm not ready for the next step. But so right now I'm in a world of Ben Kodesh L'Chol. What I have to recognize is that my ultimate goal is to get to a world that is Kulo Kodesh, that is all holy on every single level, where I'm able to see the Kedusha in every single thing. And ultimately, Pazis Ramchal and the Chalban. So how do you find the Kedusha in every single thing? By figuring out how to use the material world in a way that builds and bolsters your relationship with Hashem. Yes?
How are we supposed to find the Kedusha, especially in things that are either like more sexually oriented or anything along those lines? Especially in like our world nowadays, everything is always moving and always like advancing. So like, how are we supposed to find it?
So the answer is, remember, I think for most of us, we're not up to this yet. I think what Ramchal is describing is a beautiful future thing to orient us. I think right now, our avoda is Ben Kodesh L'Chol. And what Ben Kodesh L'Chol says, these are the things that I engage in, and these are the things that I have to distance myself from because they're not healthy for me. Raising an excellent point. I think what Ramchal is describing for us, sometimes in life, it's good to know where you need to get to, even if right now, I'm not there. But what I would say is the follow-up to that is, I think that there are small opportunities for things like this. Like the ability to see Hashem in what I'll call mundane things, like nature. Right? The Rambam writes in Hilchos Deos, that part of the way to be able to fall in love with Hashem is nature. So a lot of times we look at nature and we don't see God. We don't see God. I think that's like low-lying fruit. That's an easy way. Or using the concept of brachos. Make a bracha over a food item to be able to see Hashem in something. So I think we could have small pockets of this, but our primary avoda is to make havdalah between Kodesh and Chol. Yes?
You mentioned the Ramchal in the last Torah, the Shabbos. So I went and looked at the Ramchal. It's a refresher course. He's not exactly easy on people. To live up to what the Ramchal wants you to do, I looked at cleanliness, because I thought that's where you...
Yeah, Mesilas Yesharim.
It was very hard. I'm not sure I passed that checkup.
By the way, this isn't confession.
But by the way, I don't know how many people in this room would pass that checkup.
This goes back to Yisrael's point. Of course, life is hard.
So, but the thing about is, you talked about Adam Rishon, the rebellion was that he would make rules like a god if he ate. Like, the big thing is you cannot make your own rules.
True.
You cannot make your own rules. And then the problem becomes, if you think it's Kedusha, and it's all that, then Tikkun Olam, which is misused, becomes your rules.
Right. I think the Chet of Adam Rishon has many different facets to it. I was just focusing on one because, again, I think that's what the Ramchal was highlighting. But 100%, it's unfortunately a tragic event that has many different, Shivim Panim LaTorah, even in that just one event. All right, so we'll stop over here for tonight. Shkoyach. Oh, yes. See, was it Shul say shh?
I want to thank Ezra Gordon for sponsoring the Scotch night in New York to his grandmother's Zeitel Yaakov